morning, everyone. Welcome to another Monday. It is the Nerd On Update, the weekly show where we talk about the nerdy news. All right. And he's gone. All right. And then he's back.
I dropped something when I waved. I knocked over some stuff. But we're good.
I was like,
We're all right.
all right, it's the solo show tonight. Yeah.
And I'm out.
we are here. We're gonna talk about some nerdy news that excites us, gets us interested. Just some. Okay, he's gone. But yeah, we're yeah, and then
Just
the second
two
part
brothers.
just two brothers. And then the second half of the show where we answer questions from you guys, the audience, the people, the nerds, the freaks and geeks that decided to be with us on this Monday evening. Hello, how are you guys all doing? The funny thing is, like, I don't know where to look because I have three versions of Corey on my screens. I have one from the Twitch monitoring.
Look here.
I have one from the OBS, and I have one from the Electron, and I have one other from my own OBS. So I'm like, man, which one is actually on time? Is the change going to be? Is the change Corey's beard's going to go off and solve? Corey's beard's going off and solve crimes again? Yeah. Remember that, Corey, when your beard was like a sentient being? Yeah, I remember that. Battery print, Mamba. It's good to see you guys.
Hope you guys was.
Yeah. Hope you guys had a good weekend. Hope you guys had a good week, or at least a better week than weeks past. Or we're looking towards a better week in the future. We got some news. We got some news, but before we get into the news, we chit chat a little bit, talk about our lives, our weeks, what's been going on. Corey, how you been, man? How you been since last week?
Dude, just live my life a quarter mile at a time, you know? I saw Fast and the Furious for the first time
Yes,
ever.
we made that distinction. You can't look up Fast and Furious.
Yeah. No, we learned we learned in time. We'll say that. But yeah, man, what a powerhouse of a film that is. I don't think I'll ever be the same after seeing that movie. I loved it. I absolutely adored that film. I can't wait to watch the 9 others.
Is there 9
more?
others?
Yeah, 9 others. Just 9 movies. Yeah, what a great movie. Instantly quotable from start to finish.
So
from
the original,
what'd you put in that sandwich onward, you're good to go.
The quotes. Original idea is actually, there is a spin-off film.
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, Hobbs and Shaw.
So 10 more
movies.
films plus another one coming out.
Maybe 2 more coming out.
Yeah, probably a part 1, part 2.
Yeah, because I think X was supposed to be like, this is part 1 of 3 to finish the series. The original concept before David Ayer got it was actually much more, I think it was supposed to be based in New York, and it was much more about like heists.
Interesting.
And then when he got it, because he's the final writer, he was like, you know how like the ampersand means there's a writing team and there's an and that means like this is a person that was not part of the original team. He was the final writer for the movie, and he said like when he changed it, he made it all LA gangs. He wanted to bring the LA like experience at that time. So like I always give that man the flowers, because man, that man, he said it the best way. Hollywood is like watching the person you love the most get fucked by the person you hate the most. And I was like,
it's really good.
It's harsh.
It's really good.
But you know, hey man.
But yeah, that was an incredible movie. And then my mom was in town, so I got to spend some time with her this weekend, which was a lot of fun. I watched a docu-series called The Lady in the Dale about G. Elizabeth Carmichael. I'm not going to spoil anything, but it was great. It's on, I think we watched it on Max. Yeah, it was really good. It was really well made. I think it's 4 episodes, about an hour long each. And we watched 1 or 2 a night every night she was here. So I would highly recommend The Lady in the Dale if you're looking for some sort of documentary series produced by the Duplass brothers. Didn't know that till after I watched this 2nd episode and I saw their names up there and I was like, oh, that's why I like this. But yeah, really well done. Would highly recommend it. Tom, you should check it out.
Maybe I might.
We could do an episode on it, Tom.
We could do an episode, which will lead into our future news bits. Um,
But how was your weekend?
my week, I
Oh, yeah, I
saw.
just talked about the weekend.
I know. Well, on Friday, I saw the last day of my work week at the job I won an Emmy for. I didn't win the Emmy, but we won an Emmy. So it was a little bittersweet, a little. Uh, you're forced, like, and this is the thing. Everyone's like, "Oh, it's like graduation. It's like a breakup." I was like, "It's kind of like forced graduation." Corey, you remember college? You know, the dining commons and all that stuff.
Dorms and books,
Yeah.
baby.
Do you know what happens when you keep switching majors and then you max out on credits?
My professor told me, but I'll let you answer that.
Uh, whether so, let's say you started out as undeclared, and then you were like, "Let me go poli sci," and then you're like, "You know what? Maybe life is pushing me a different way. Let me go engineering." If you have like maximum 250 credits, which normally in order to graduate any type of major, you should have about like 120, which means 3 units per class, right? So you're taking about 5 units a semester, 2 semesters a year. The math will math. Um,
The math will math.
the math will math. If you have too many credits, they forcefully have you graduate, whether you get a
Oh
degree
shit.
or not, which is like the most antithetical thing to like universities I ever heard of.
That makes
Uh,
no sense.
it's a for-profit learning experience, right?
I
So
forgot. I forgot
yeah,
when I went.
that's how this felt, where it was like you're finishing up work not because you want to, not because the job is done, but because uh, there's no nicer way to do this, but you're out. And so that's how that felt. But I gotta have a little last dinner, last dining thing. A little bit of
Last Supper.
yeah, a little bit of a last supper, a little bit of shade here and there, but that's whatever. So and that's a lot of learning to come to terms with a lot of stuff. I was let go, I wasn't fired, and all that stuff. But I've been saying it, and the thing I really came up to is like when you're confident in yourself and not necessarily confident in the environment you're in, you're not playing it safe. You're playing it to your cards. You're bidding on yourself, and then also you're not unemployed. You're not someone who without skills who's unemployed. You're someone with skills who's looking for work, and
Right.
I think there's a little bit of an empowerment that you have to definitely find, especially when you've worked on some things. I'm not telling young people who have no experience and who just have gumption, like how I used to be in my earlier 20s, to be just like, oh yeah, I'm best at everything. It's like, oh no, I've worked in some stuff, I've seen it. Maybe I'm not the best, but I'm
Best at
always
everything.
yeah, I'm a lifelong learner, but I know what works and what doesn't work. Um, all that being said, funny enough, I saw Mark every day for the weekend.
Really?
On Friday and the last day, like I had told certain people I worked with at former company that I was like, hey, I might do a dinner or something like that the last week and put it on the card because whatever. And then those
Why
plans
not?
got quickly eroded, and so like I kind of let those plans die out. And then he hit me, was like, hey, if you're still doing anything on Friday, let's do something. I was like, all right. So we went for a hike, and then we got some dinner, and then Saturday we played, and then Sunday we did martial arts. And I was like, I saw Mark every day.
There you go.
Not planned,
I see
which
how it
is
is.
kind of funny. Hey man, I actually you came to mind today because I was like, I got up, I did a gig, I did a little side gig, and then I was like, oh, what do I have
Good.
to do? Then I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go to Barnes and Noble, grab a book, and then go to a coffee shop and have a coffee and eat a muffin. And I was like, is Corey
This is the
available
way.
right now? And I was like, I should hit him up and see when he's available throughout the day. And like funny enough, random people like hit me up today and was like, hey, there's a job coming up. Would you want to travel for this? And I was like, sorry everyone, it was a
Yeah.
reality TV gig, and I was like, I
Uh,
don't know. Like I could do
no.
unscripted, but I don't know if I could do reality. Like I mean, like again, that's reductive on reality, and it's reductive on like my own skill set. But I'm just like, I don't know if I want to play that game. I know enough people who are in the reality space or who was in the
Yeah.
reality space, and I'm like, it's not great. And then
I thought of you today too, Tom. I started running today.
ooh,
So that was really hard.
how are you running?
Well, I told myself to just do a mile because I didn't have much time before Juniper woke up. Before I was like, you know what? I've been thinking about running for a while. I got new running shoes, uh, as a birthday gift. It's the first Monday in March. Let's just fucking do this thing. I was like, I'm gonna try to run a mile at the same pace. That's my only goal. Is I want to stay the same pace for a mile. And I got pretty close. I had to walk a couple times for a minute, but I didn't do that great. I did an 11-minute mile,
No,
um,
that's
but I
that's
but I
11
kept
minutes
the same
faster than you
pace.
did yesterday.
Exactly, I kept the same pace the whole time, except for once or twice where I was like, okay, my heart rate. I had my Apple Watch on. I was like, my heart rate's pretty high. I think I need to take it back down just a little bit, and then I would continue on. But yeah, I'm gonna do that like 3 to 4 times a week, hopefully, and just get better and better. But I
What
thought of
time?
you. I was like, what was Tom? What would Tom do? Well, he was
What time
training
was
for his
this?
marathon. Uh, this was at probably around noon.
I'll say if you want, we can go do some noon runs. Because I'll say right now again,
Real bad.
not a hashtag, not a sponsor. Nike Run Club, y'all. Nike Run Club, free app on any app store, Android app store. If you got some headphones that will stay on your ear, I
Yeah, I
recommend
do
it.
not right now, but I need some.
Guided run on the Nike Run Club app. Coach Bennett is just like, hey man,
All right.
it's absolutely average Joe's from dodgeball, where it's like, dude, you're running today, and you should feel great about that. And today's not about the pain. Today's not about trying hard. Today's about feeling good. And I was like, holy what? Like, Corey, you know me, and people here know me, where it's like I like to work myself to the bone and like till I sweat and I'm dying. He was just, this is a guided run, and it's just like you're just listening, and it's like, hey, I want you to run right now, and if it feels like you're running too slow, that's good. I want you almost to finish this run as if you cheated yourself from running faster, and you're like, this is so weird. He's like,
Oh,
I'm a coach, I
interesting.
know what I'm talking about. You're like, okay. So Corey, don't worry, maybe I'll hook it up with you, don't worry. uh about some
I'm
in-ear
down.
headphones.
But yeah, it was
uh
it was really hard. It was really hard, but it was really felt really good. So
but what I was
yeah,
gonna say was so yeah, and yeah, if you were in the digital green room today, there's been a little bit of other personal life things in terms of like, the changing of the landscape of the world. So there's been a little bit of that in my life and my week and figuring all that space. So I've it's been an interesting time. At some point, I'm gonna go to like a coffee house or like a tea house or somewhere and just sit with my laptop, not be one of those LA guys who writes their screenplays, but like I'll just be applying for jobs while enjoying a coffee or like a cookie.
there you go.
So yeah, that's my life. But enough about that chit chat. We have some news today, y'all.
We
Um,
do lots of news.
Corey, would you like to go or would you like me to go?
I'll go. Mine's really quick because
Well,
there
before you
isn't
start,
much. All
something that
right.
we haven't been doing, we got to clap.
This is corn.
This is Mamba.
There it is. You gotta wait.
This is the final episode, isn't it? No, no, no,
No. No. No.
no,
Quite the
no,
opposite, my dear boy.
no, no,
Quite the
no, no,
opposite.
no. Well,
This is Dana.
I'll say right
That's what
now,
Brad said.
bad reprint, man. There's no better reminder than being present, right? Like, you have to do something right, and your parents are looking at you. You're like, all right, I got to make sure I act right. When you're around, we're like, oh yeah, I got to do the claps. We got to do the claps. So we just want to make sure we're doing this right. But go ahead, Corey. Give us some news.
Yeah. We have some leaked images from the previously Max, now Amazon Prime, Batman cartoon, the Cape Crusader. Are you putting them up? You
Maybe,
pulling them up, Tom?
maybe.
Uh, Coming from Bruce Timm, J.J. Abrams, and Matt Reeves, which has been in kind of a weird limbo for quite some time. I want to say like it was announced 3 years ago almost. But we got some first looks at Batman. We got some good looks at a lot of the characters and villains, and we actually got to look at what people are assuming is Alfred, but it's like not the Alfred we all know from the 90s and going forward. It's like a penguin almost looking Alfred, which I think is really interesting. But yeah, I'm of course being a fan of Batman the Animated Series, Bruce Timm stuff. Has he had some missteps? Sure. But he has, when he hits it out of the park, the dude hits it out of the park. Same with Matt Reeves and J.J. Abrams. Have they all had missteps? Yes, but when they hit, they hit. So having the three of them together working on a Batman series is pretty exciting. The fact that it's not dead in the water also, and that we're getting some sort of update after it was announced years ago, is also very exciting. Knowing it's not yet again, like I said, dead in the water. But yeah, man, I don't know if Tom's showing up there or not. I'm
Yeah.
not watching the live stream currently, but yeah, it looks awesome. The bat suit looks really from what I could see in the images, at least to me, looked like it was harkening back to almost the original Batman costume, a little more pointed, a little more bat-esque. And I mean like the purple glove costume. But yeah, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Very Bruce Timm style animation, but I'm not mad about it. So that leaked today.
There's been a couple of Batman anniversary short animated films. One was like a 20th anniversary of Batman Beyond, and then there was another one that was like maybe like a something anniversary. But they featured this style of Batman earlier. Before
Yeah,
this is pre-pandemic level. This is maybe around BVS times. But it was like this caper, and it has Batman without the spiked gauntlets, just like
yeah.
little gloves, and the ears are the most like iconically like capturing like, oh, okay, this is that style. But yeah, it feels very much like, because Bruce Timm produced those ones as well. So it's like, okay, if we're gonna use this very old school pulpy
Yeah.
look, we're gonna go with that. You have a smaller bat symbol. But yeah, Alfred got the two C's, looking thick, baby. If
Yeah.
that is
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
The only reason you could tell it's maybe not Penguin is just because the nose is not super pointed like
Oh,
Cobblepot
yeah.
normally
It's
is,
definitely
right?
not penguin, but it's definitely penguin-esque.
Yeah.
But yeah, I ain't mad at these images, man.
I think
I
I
ain't mad about them.
enjoyed that Gotham, the TV show, did have a connecting thread that uh, the Pennyworths and the Cobblepots knew each other as families.
Oh, I dig that.
So it's like, oh, that makes
I
sense.
dig
That
that.
actually makes some in-world logic where it's like, oh, like if the Cobblepots were like from across the pond and the Pennyworths were also across the pond, would they maybe know like gangsters that were coming to Gotham, and could they, yeah, Z
Could
Chun,
they?
baby. Uh,
Yeah.
but
Wild looking Clayface though, huh?
yeah,
Did you
yeah,
see that one? Yeah.
it's it's again, it's a lot more of the pulpy style, which there is an argument that like maybe Batman in maybe 50, 40 years, I don't know, stays as that like era superhero. Like we don't bring them to the modern era because the Rogues Gallery just feels so reflected that well in that time. And
It
also just like
it
the Art
fits
Deco
really well.
cars, and like the
Yeah.
lack of cell phones and things like that, where it's like, oh, these things make sense. Um, I do we know if it's still going to Amazon, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
Amazon Prime picked it up when Max like released it.
When it's
So
weird, like Netflix should just have it because apparently Netflix has all the Warner Brothers DC stuff. Anyways, we won't talk about that. Moving on to the
we're gonna
next
talk
bit of
about how
news.
Hugh Jackman said he'll come back for Secret Wars, but only if he gets to interact with Toby and Robert Downey Jr.
Nope. I'm going to talk
Moving
about
on.
something else because this is something that might actually make me a little excited about life. Uh, and the reason why I say this actually,
Not Marvel, Tom?
no, nothing with capes anymore. Unfortunately, capes and cowls. It's the Macy's again. Like
No.
I say it this way: Macy's Day Parade. Macy's Day Parade. It's like it happens every year. It's a long, tired prep parade. Who cares? is maybe not for me anymore. As in, like, they don't really care about like an adult who's willing to buy the merchandise. They just care more about the kids who are bugging their parents to go buy action figures because who cares? Uh, and Paul Dano said it the same way, where it's like, I hope there's fatigue because that means they're gonna welcome something different and drastically, you know, not like everything else, and that's what he's there for. I'm like, that's what I'm here for too at this point, because comic book movies at
Yeah.
the time were a great disruption to the like really half baked stories of sci-fi action.
Right.
I'm not talking about like The Matrix. I'm talking about like R.I.P.D. I'm talking about like a bad Men in Black sequel. I'm talking about like that's what I'm talking about. But the thing I'm talking about today, which at some point Corey will 100% be on board with, but he just doesn't have the time to absolutely dive into these things. Um, because Corey does like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and he does know that even despite the lackluster reception to the live action remakes, not the live action, but the remakes of the live action,
Yeah.
all of the cast members are pretty genuinely normally good people. Um,
Hmm.
and one Alan Richson, Thad Castle, who
Yeah.
portrayed Aquaman in Smallville and Raphael in TMNT. Uh,
You mean Jack Reacher?
Currently Amazon's Jack Reacher, which I love that show. That show is the most like by the numbers long movie that's made for TV. It's just all it is one long movie. And I even mean like Dune or Oppenheimer or Killers of the Wall or Killers of Flower Moon like long movie. I mean like the story simplicity in this is actually meant to be a movie. It's a book and there's like a lot of character moments, so like they made it a show, which isn't bad.
That
Um,
dude's huge.
but
That
Alan
dude
Richson,
is massive.
who also played
Yeah.
Hawk in Doom Patrol,
Uh-huh.
well, not Doom Patrol, Titans. He was the
Yeah.
best part. He was the best
Yeah.
part of Titans as Hawk. Alan Richson, who I have a lot of respect for. Maybe he's an asshole. I don't know him like that. Maybe he's a great guy. Is shopping a sequel series to Blue Mountain State. And I think that's arguably his most well known role is as Thad Castle. The original actors, uh, Darren Brooks and Chris Romano are also expected to come back. It's going to be a sequel to the series, so not a reboot. And in my mind, I thought about you, Corey, and I was like, it's a cult hit, and I don't know, again, because it wasn't for me, or I never hit it. I feel like maybe this was my Scrubs. And I'm not meaning in the emotional sense, because I know Scrubs
Blue
goes to
Mountain
like
State?
good, yeah. I know Scrubs goes good, like has deep emotional depths. Blue Mountain State
I know what
will
you mean
never have,
though.
huh?
I know what you mean when you say that though. I know what you mean.
Well, like
And it's
because
your Scrubs.
Scrubs technically had a follow up season, right?
We don't talk about that. It was supposed to end, and then the series, they were supposed to have a spin-off, and the ABC was like, no, if you want to make it, it has to just be Scrubs season 9. And if you want to make this, you have to have some of the original cast come back, otherwise we're pulling funding. And they went, well, I guess we're making it that then, and it was bad. It's really bad. The
Uh,
ending is season 8. Ending is season 8.
uh, so this will be a sequel series with the same cast, which I imagine like, oh, you guys are not going to play the college football guys. You're going to have to play like faculty members or like alumni who don't know how to graduate. So like that's why I'm like, oh, this could be kind of Scrubs, where it could be kind of bad because like if you're supposed to usher in this new generation, but like everyone's here for the old generation, you know what I mean? Where it's like the intentions
Yeah.
might be there, but like network as well as other people might be like, no, you got to just bring back the old show. But again, I love Alan Richson, so that show's coming out. And then the second part of the news that I have, and Corey knows about this. Last week we had a little meetup, a little nerd on meetup. So bad reprint, you were right on the money. This is the last episode. No, okay. Um, no, we talked about Nerd On. the hosts of the Capes Crusaders, as well as Josh and us and the Nerd On group. We all came together. We had a little couple, maybe 1-2 hour meetup, and just discussed where we want to go, what we want to do, where we're feeling with it. And this is a little bit off the cuff and gives us a chance to have an interaction with you guys. The loyal, supportive audience members that we have. Streaming for us is definitely something that we get to interact with our listeners and continue to be in the conversation. But it's not necessarily what we feel is always going to be Nerd On. There has been desire, obviously, on both sides of the microphone, of like, we want to make a show, but also like there is a demand to like get back in that field. It's just trying to find the scheduling. I mean, we've talked about this for years, but there is a probably good conversation that like if we when we do the show again, it won't be as consistent. And lack of consistency is something you guys have definitely experienced. But in terms of like, there'll be several months of podcasts and then several months of not, and then several months of podcasts and several months of not. Very much like how most shows do a season of shows, we might do something similar to that. But what we want to try to do is to afford ourselves to actually just make more stuff. I think fighting off of that's the interesting thing about the creative experience is like if we just constantly are just throwing logs into the fire, it kind of burns out unless you farm and harvest for a while and then throw a huge chunk in, and that leads you a lot more mileage. Instead of
Yeah.
keeping the embers on, we're just going to blow the embers as hard as we can and then take a break.
Yeah. We've all come to the table with a few ideas. I'm
uh,
excited about it.
I'll say right
Gonna
now
suss them
that
out.
for y'all, if there's any video stuff on our YouTube, that's definitely through the tutelage and ideology of Corey. He's definitely bringing a lot of the video ideas to it. Obviously, it's a group effort, and we're all going to be working towards it. But a lot of people are just talking about like episodes. But in terms of giving you some more stuff, video stuff is a lot of Corey coming to be like, hey, I want to make stuff like this. I want to make stuff like that. So it's interesting. It's cool. We're excited. But it comes down to a little bit of planning, a little bit of effort, and a little bit of time. So
Yep.
look forward to that. And also, this is a conversation. Again, the show existed before the first listener, but now that we have listeners, we do want to hear what you guys would like us to do. Obviously, the return of like topical episodes, some return of like, let's just kind of be a little reflective on like the status of the world. Some interviews will happen. But if there's a particular topic you guys want, some input on, especially you guys who show up every Monday on our update, put it into the Discord. That's the best place to put it in. I know for a fact we're gonna have to do it just because I know one listener who has like hounded me for years. We're gonna do the Matt Reeves Batman episode. We're gonna do an Everything Everywhere All at Once
Yeah.
episode, and this is the thing too with the availability as well as the luxury of having Steve's, Barry, as well as Amy for the Crusaders. The rotation of hosts will change and vary. But the one thing you will get is the hosts that are going to be the most juiced, hyped, and excited to talk about that topic. So I hope you
Yep.
guys are excited about that.
Yeah. There's gonna be like different forms of thing. We're kind of just approaching this in a way that we want to be able to just make the things we want to make, even if they don't fit a typical structured mold of any sort. And kind of in a very baseline way, chase the dopamine in the sense that we want to bring you the content that we're also excited to make, and just find that happiness in it all. So I'm pumped on it.
I'm seeing this comment from Battery Print about Corey casting Battery Print in a feature film. Uh, there was a little bit of a stroke of brilliance because I did think about something that I was like, oh, maybe I do cast Battery Print in something. I've been playing.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've had some time on my hands, and there's definitely like a desire. And Corey and I have talked about like, oh, now that Tom is fired an unemployable, garbage resume, there's time for us to make
That's
some
what I
stuff.
said. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That was my exact words.
We Corey and I talked about making shorts and stuff like that, and which ones that we
Yeah.
want to make. There's some that like obviously Corey, neither you, Brad, or anyone else that we know could ever be in. Because there's one that I want to do that's only like hot babes. only hot babes. Um, think of it like Heat, but
Have
it's only hot babes.
you seen me in makeup, Tom?
Corey, I've seen you in makeup, and you know, a lot of people say like, you know, you look like your mom in makeup.
Sure.
I think
That's true.
you look
You
more like
have. I forgot.
you look more like my dad, which is not
Oh,
a
okay. Cool.
you know, which I don't know if
Yes, son.
for casting, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But yeah. Um yeah, there's some cool ideas, and Corey and I will obviously talk about it afterwards. But now we can move on to the second part of the show, which is the questions from the audience. If you want to be a part of the show, if you want to support the show, you know, find this on YouTube and you know put it on the background, do all the things over there. But also join the communities, be part of the show, where you could join
Yep.
our Discord at nerdon.tv/discord. You can support the show for $1. It's really cheap, really affordable, just to help us keep the
Yeah.
lights on. All the money comes from my pocket to keep us on right now. But then the Patreon is there to help us out so that it doesn't have to come strictly out of our pockets. You know, it gets annoying to knock on Corey's door and be like, hey, man, could, you know, Juniper like not eat today so that we can pay for the website hosting? And Corey's like, you know what? Yeah, she can. She can.
Yeah. She'll
So
make it.
$1 a month
Why they
helps
make
us.
babies fat?
Yeah, $1 a month helps us out greatly, but also just support nerdon.tv/Patreon. That helps us out. But also just interacting, sharing us with your friends. And you can answer questions if you are part of our Discord and our Patreon, like these. And our first question today comes from Spencer13H.
Shout out.
Shout out. This is a question I feel like we've seen, but it's funny to always revisit it because I know it's so
Yeah.
applicable to life. And Corey, I feel like, has for sure asked himself this question multiple times. If you could be better at one thing, Matrix
Oh, God.
style, what would it be? Matrix style. One
Dude.
thing. So you get one, I think this is like the golden opportunity. It's like a genie says, I give you one chance to Matrix something. What would it be?
Mm. If I could matrix one skill, do you have an answer already?
Yes.
What is it?
Stock market manipulation.
Wow. Damn. Damn, that's a good answer. It's a really good answer.
In my world, it's called stupid money.
I'm torn between two, Tom.
It's Bushman survival in the woods.
Sure. Yeah. What's the other one?
Flying a helicopter.
Nailed it. How'd you know? No, it's between writing or I'm trying to what the phrasing for this would be, but like people skills, like communication, talking to people, like schmoozing and talking to people, because I know how
Hobnobbing.
far that can get you if you are good at talking, telling stories,
If you're good in a room.
small talk. Yeah. I
Good in
know
a
how
room.
far that can fucking get you.
There's
But
an
I just pick
anecdote.
guitar because it's more fun.
There's an anecdote that I've read. You know, I interact with certain people on the internet in some places, and you know, as much as that billionaire doesn't need any more recognition, but Twitter is a great place to. It's called Twitter. It's always going to be called Twitter.
Mhm.
Is a great place to
Except it isn't.
see certain people. Like I had like a small discourse with the writer for Spaceman, the new Adam Sandler movie on
Oh, cool.
Netflix.
Yeah.
And he was like talking. He's like, oh, you know, like the word. I said like, hey, a lot of people always see how it started and then how it's going, and they see like the you know the storyboard, and then like, hey, look, my name is in the on Netflix, and we're the #1 movie. I'm like, I was like, can you speak about what were some of the surprising things that you had to learn when you went from writing to now you're, you know, pitching in a room? And he said, more than not, people in a room and a pitch when you're with producers and stuff like that are more interested in the answers than the questions. AKA, if you are telling a story And let's say I want to tell a story about a girl who leaves her home country and then her childhood sweetheart finds her 20 years later. What does that mean? What happens when they've had two different lives? The producers in the room are like, yeah, what does that mean? What are you going to say? Well, what's the purpose? Like, what's the message you're going to give the audience? Instead, the writer more than likely is just like, I just want to live in this space of like uncertainty and,
Yeah.
is there such thing as fate? And uh, can we truly live the lives that we don't have for ourselves? Uh, and I after like a couple of messages back and forth, him and I had I was like, are you asking like they were more interested in like, okay, cool, you have a cool story, now go produce it? And he's like, no. He's like, they don't care about the actual merit of the movie. They care more about like, well, what's the product? And I'm like, I get it.
I'll take that.
I get it. So,
Yep.
yeah, I could. The internet's great. So back to what you're saying is be good in a room. I've heard some people
Yeah.
say like they're like, why do certain people like keep making movies? And it's like because they're good in a room. They could have literally the worst dog shit scripts and literally hand over fist be bad writers or not like make good movies. But if people are juiced to be with them, be like, oh yeah, I want to work with this motherfucker. Doesn't matter. They would just be like,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
they'll
what it is.
afford that. So,
Good question.
good question. Thank you, Spencer. Next question will be from Dougler. If you made a slow cooker meal, which I don't know even that would mean, a slow cooker meal, what was your favorite? Uh-oh. Corey disappear? Oh, Corey disappeared. Uh-oh. It's a solo show now. Hold on, let me text him. Let me text. Corey? All right, he's logging back on. I'm going to say it's Corey's underwear. That's my favorite thing to cook, slow cook. No, my answer is if I made a slow cooker meal, what was my favorite? Um I've made like several hour broths and soups. And then I use that broth and I really like boil it down, boil it down, boil it down. Uh to like I use it to like make like to flavor other things, like make noodles or make fried rice or anything like that. But the last slow cooked meal, I don't even call it slow cooked. I made like pork and chicken adobo before, which is like equivalent to almost like fei ju yuk, which is a Chinese thing, but it's also like palo kind of meal, meat in like Thai food. So like, uh, yeah, slow cooked meal. I mean, I made a turkey over like 7 hours, right? Like, that was kind of slow.
That was pretty cool. You like that?
You were smiling, and then you were gone.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. What I missed. So slow cooking.
So I realize I don't slow cook anything. Thai style cooking is fast. It's very fast.
Yeah.
The reason why our fried rice is better than any Chinese fried rice in the world is because it's fast.
Tom. No. I asked your mom how she made pillow, and it took hours.
It takes days.
Hours. That is slow cooking.
Well, sure.
It's not in a pressure cooker or a crock pot,
Yeah.
but it is what crock pots were designed to speed up.
Yeah.
That is slow cooking.
I expressed. I mean, I never made it, but I expressed that like I made a turkey.
If you
that
did,
took 7
Tom,
hours.
you would have income from me because I would pay you weekly to make it for me.
Takes a
What was the
long.
question though? I missed the whole question. I just heard if you were slow cooking something.
Oh, what was your favorite?
My favorite slow cook recipe.
If you've made slow cooker meal, what was your favorite?
Slow cooker meal. Oh, I mean, I mostly used slow cooker to make beverages, which is a really funny thing, like ciders, like spiced ciders and wines. But I did make this is such a white guy thing. Uh these like slow cooked like barbecue meatballs, and they were so fucking good, dude. You know the ones at like parties where you take like a toothpick and you eat one, you're like, that was delicious. It's smothered in barbecue sauce that's been cooking for like 10 hours. Dude, now I want that, and I'm not gonna have it, which is upsetting. But that would be my number one. But I know there's more better recipes you can make in a slow cooker,
Well, that was
but
your
it's
favorite right
just my
now.
favorite. It's my favorite. I fucking love barbecue sauce, dude. I fucking love it.
What was the last thing I had with barbecue sauce recently? I'm like, I had good barbecue sauce.
I made ribs for the first time on the grill, like a month or two ago. They're not hard to make.
No,
They just take time.
they just take time. Hey man, oh, this just take time. I was gonna say
Just take
like
time.
off the
Just
bone
go out,
falls off. Yeah.
recoat it a little bit. Well, I did a brown sugar rub, right? So I cut them and cleaned them, and then I did this brown sugar rub with a little bit of like I did brown sugar and red pepper flakes, and I just coated the whole thing in that, and then I cooked that for 2 hours over the grill, like wrapped in foil, and then after 2 hours, I unwrapped it and I like coated it with barbecue sauce, and I put it on for another hour and a half, or an hour, and flipped it, and then coated it another time. Did one more hour and took with no foil, and then took them off, and then did another little thing of barbecue sauce on them. And yeah, they were like, if you shook them, they just dropped, and it was so fucking good. Costco, baby.
I'm gonna shout out
Uh,
to Mamba in the chat with the answer. Have a special soup. Eat once a year. It's like a gumbo soup. Takes 4 days of preparation, which is
oh yeah.
crazy. Man, when you were explaining barbecuing, man, I just literally thought about sitting on a field, starting at like 9 a.m. Start putting the meat
Hmm.
onto the into the smoker, and then just sipping beers and hanging out, watching the sun go down. You know, kids are screaming, going crazy, and just being like, "Yep, have some chips, have some meat on the side." And it's like, just sit down, just like, all right, this is it. Like, it's so funny. Like, I think I told you this. Like, I don't know about you, Corey. We're built a little different. We have a lot of similar strokes, but like when I go see my friends up north and they're like Magic, I'm like, I love y'all. I love y'all. I love this game. But I need to do other things other than just play Magic with y'all. I am magicked out after the fifth hour for a
Sure.
day. Like I don't
Yeah.
want to play 9 hours with you. I know that sounds cool. If we made it where it's like that's the plan, like sure. But like if I'm gonna
Like
see like
our group wants to do an Airbnb weekend. I'm
yeah,
like, cool. But we know going in,
yeah.
that's what we're there for.
But like Corey,
But
if
yeah,
like if I come over and there's two other people that play Magic, it's like I could just sit and get to and hang out, catch up, see what life is outside of the game. And I know like the
yeah.
game kind of brings it out, but I'm just like, so I was just like, man, like sitting down with the people that you love and you care, your chosen family, and your your born with
Oh,
family.
barbecue, dude.
It's nice. It's nice.
Barbecue is not like barbecue food, but like a barbecue
A
in
cookout.
general, like as a thing, is one of my favorite things in the world. That's why I never went to bars. I was like, why? I don't want to go to a bar and pay $7 for a beer. I'd rather go buy a pack of beer for like $20 and then take it to a barbecue and hang out all day and eat food.
See,
And
and me growing up, I have mainly Mexican friends, so like they're making food all the time, and you sit down, and they got the tables out. They got the tables and the little
yep,
little plastic sheets on top of it. And they got enough for the party chairs. They got little easy up tents. And the crazy thing is that the parents are all like making food for you, and they're just like, "You want food?" And you're like, "Dude, like you don't have to serve me food." Like it feels a little
like
weird,
shut up.
but they're just
Yeah,
like, "That's it." And then you're like, "Okay," and then you just sit and eat all day. And I'm like, "Cool."
it's great.
And now they're all
They
like
got it right.
older. Like one of my friends, his kid had a birthday, and she wanted her friends to come over, and he's like, "Fuck." He's just like, "Well, now I have to
Oh,
entertain other kids, and now their parents. I don't know how their parents are." And he was like kind of stressed. I'm like, "Hey man, if anyone cause problems, I don't care. I'm about to punch some kids, like, and some adults. Like, this is my friend's house. He's treating you out, hospitality. Like, don't be mean." All of them were lovely. They were all great. But I'm ready. I'm ready to throw down. I'm ready to do that NBC the slap. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Zachary Quinto just slapping people.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
so, but no, yeah, just like, oh,
I
sit
forgot I have
down.
to do that eventually.
Zachary Quinto slap some kids.
No, just like I have to talk to like Juniper's friends' parents
Oh yeah, dude. And I'll come there and I'll
someday.
be and make sure it's during the summer so I'm jacked, and then like I'll just come straight from the gym, and then they'll be like, "Yo, why do you have this like criminal out here?" Then I was like, I'm the party pooper.
I'm the party. Who poops at parties?
uh,
All right. Next question. Next question.
Next question. It's going to be from
Good
Ethan.
question though.
Who?
Now I'm hungry.
Uh, his question is a Pop Tart a no? His question is there anything you've wanted to get into but haven't for whatever reason?
A lot of things. Yeah.
I really want to get into
Um,
Star Wars, but a lot of the fans are misogynist.
Running was one of those things, and I'm trying it. I'm trying to do it. Tried it today. It's fun. My legs hurt.
What would stop you? The
What
running.
would stop me from getting into running? It doesn't feel good. It just doesn't like it feels awful the whole time. And so like it was I've tried to in the past I've ran for like a month at a time, and the whole time I was like this will just get better, and then for the whole month it was bad. It's and now I think I'm just at the age where I'm like I'm old enough and I'm wise enough to know like I understand it's gonna suck, but I will feel better as a byproduct, not the act of it feels good. And I know people say they experience runner's high and all that shit, but I just experience runner's sickness where I don't feel good for like 30 minutes after running. But it's good for me. It's good for my heart. The thing I've wanted to get into that I haven't yet is uh is actually Warhammer 40K. Because I played Dawn
I
of War my whole life,
I know what's stopping
but
you from getting into that.
money
Money.
and painting and
Money.
painting. I hate painting. I
You
don't
could buy
like.
painted pieces.
Yeah, for like a bajillion more dollars.
Money.
Um,
Money.
but yeah, money. Yeah, it's money. It's the only barrier to that game that has stopped me from playing that game. It is. I mean, I thought Magic was expensive, dude. Jesus Christ, the barrier of entry is so high on Warhammer. It's insane. So,
This is
but it
like
looks
when
so fun.
like
It looks so
Magic
fun.
might actually be the precursor to 40K
Yeah.
because it is collectible. You are building and you're doing these armies against people and stuff like that. Where like for me, like my small hobby of like my model Gundams is like the
Yeah.
precursor to like, oh, you want to get into like model aircrafts? You're like, no, that shit
No.
seems insane. Uh, but
It's
uh,
yeah. What's yours?
for me, well, also I want to speak to your runner's high thing. Corey knows I
Oh
trained for
yeah.
like 3 weeks running, nonstop before I got super sad and depressed. I never got a runner's high. I always got a. This hurts. This sucks. But I'm running more. I'm running better, and this feels like better because I could literally see my progress. But I never got a. I can keep running for more, and I don't hurt. And I'm like, that's a lie.
It sucks so much, man.
Oh, it is. It does. I agree 100%. And like the best mentality I had about going into running was from uh someone I worked with. He runs marathons,
Marathons.
and he's 48 years old with 2 kids and a wife. And he was like he was like, I was a little bitch and everything hurt and it sucks and sometimes you just got to eat the suck. And I was like, all right. He told me, he didn't lie. He just said straight up, and he's like more than 10 years older than me. So I'm like, I believe him. I believe him.
Yeah.
I believe him, and I'm cool with that. If you're willing to be okay with that, that's fine. Whereas, some people are like, when they lie about alcohol, it's like, oh, it's so smooth. It's like, shut the fuck up. You don't talk about. They're just trying to sell it to you.
Yeah.
Something for me I haven't gotten into that has stopped me for whatever reason. Traveling,
I know what's stopping you.
money,
Yeah. It's all money, man.
money,
It's all
and then
money.
and this is the
We're
thing.
in a
Also,
recession, my guy. Whether they
yeah,
want to call it that or not, we are in one.
but like I also grew up with the mentality of like immigrant parents who are like you have to get money and security and all that stuff at all costs. There is no sense of being like frivolous with your money. You have to be very frugal. uh,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just like, if you're not making money, you're losing money. It's that way with Magic. If you're not building your board, you're losing, right? If you're not getting stronger, you're losing. But with that, with traveling, I was like, I'm literally spending money so I can go to a place and spend money. So
Yeah.
it's like double negative in my brain of like, make money, save money, make more money, have a house, be secure, have these things that are supposed to make you have a good life. It was never about experience. It was about what assets do I have, and it comes with the different territory when you have immigrant parents who have no like assets to like pass on to me, right? When they pass on, they're gonna pass on debt. They're not gonna pass on a house. They're not gonna pass on like, hey, take this thing. That's like all that. So like they had to establish their own
Yeah.
wealth, and there's a lot of conversation about generational wealth, and you can talk about it, but this is not the forum for it. Uh, yeah, so
Do an episode on generational health. Wealth. I mean,
like I had a friend who literally was like, "Hey man, I had to get my first shitty house just so I can have generational wealth. I'll be the first one in my family in America to have a house." I was like, "Okay, hey, I get it." But so traveling, and man, oh man, this year was going to be the year that I was like, all right, I'm gonna go here, I'm gonna go there. I could save up. I'll spend 2 G's for this week, and I'll go. And I'm like, that ain't gonna happen right now. So we'll see. It could be hard for me for the next few weeks or few months or few years, but at some point, I know for a fact I'm like, I gotta do this just for me, whether it's by myself and I just get lost, and then I meet some shady people, or I'm like, I went to this place by myself, it sucked, and I'm done. I gotta do it. So at some point I will. One last question
yeah.
for the night. Black Diablo Mamba in the chat. This is a great question. I actually kind of like this question because Corey and I both know that 2024 has not been super great for a lot of people. Some people it's been wonderful. Some people got a little older recently. Some people got their second year of life recently. So good
I'm in
things.
my mid-30s now, Tom.
I don't know. You don't
Look at
you don't
that.
look a day older than 36.
30, there it is. Yeah. It was either 36 or 37. I didn't know what you were going for. Thanks, Tom.
um, Black Diablo Mamba asks, question: what are you excited for in 2024 that a lot of people are not talking about?
Oh, that's a good question.
It is. It's a really good question.
What are you excited for in 2024 that a lot of people are not talking about? Man, that's a really good question because I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta think of what's happening in 2024. The election. um,
Everyone's talking about that.
and I'm so excited about it. No, I mean, there's personal stuff I'm excited for, but why? But of course, nobody's talking about that. What's on a global scale am I excited
Or a
for?
local scale, or an international scale, or just a
Right.
regional scale.
I feel like there is something happening in 2024.
Oh, Corey, your power. That's rough. I'm excited that Corey won't have power issues, hopefully in 2025. Something I'm excited about. Something I'm excited about. Corey just texted me. He said his computer keeps restarting. I want to tell him, it's okay. I'm stalling. Um, Something I'm excited about that no one's talking about. I think I'm most excited about I think I'm most excited about what? Huh. I want to say like, am I excited about like the Academy Awards? I don't know if people are talking about it or not. Maybe I'm excited about the strike that's gonna happen with the IATSE, because I don't know if that's gonna be like really gonna be effective, but like I hope it is. Like I don't know. There's a part of me that's kind of like I feel like we're up for like a big reset, like a big, wide scale. Not like a culling, not like a not like a not like a what's that called? What's that called? What's that happen when God comes and everything's done? Uh, Not one of those. I'm excited for like I don't know, like to feel like there will be a little bit of a direction coming years of like industry swaths. The Rapture. There you go. There, you know about that. You know about Bioshock. Um, cause like I don't know. I feel like we're just really due for like Tyler Perry like halted production on some of his studios because he wanted to see how AI was really going to like settle. Not being like he's like, oh well, I'm going to be on the side of AI, but being like, hey, producer guild as well as the writers guild as well as the actors guild, like you guys really need to have like a strong foot and stance of where you guys going to be with this. Right now, it's so shaky. Not because like no one knows what's going on, but like unions haven't really said in such strong cemented feeling of like protecting workers in that regard. And like interesting enough, like I really see Tyler Perry being kind of smart about that because he's just like he's not part of those guilds, the producer and the writers guild. I think he might be part of the producer guild, but I think he's part of the DGA. And he's just like, well, when you guys have a decision, then I'll know what to invest this money into because he still wants to build those studios like sound stages at his studio in Georgia, but he just needs to know what they're going to be used for. And I think there's like that's such a large gesture showing like where he wants to put his money because he obviously wants to hire people and he built it to really celebrate black filmmakers. I'm pretty sure there's some kind of deal that you if you're like a first time director and you're black and you're in Georgia, like you get something out of it. So it's like really cool to see that. But he just also needs to be like, well, I can't just throw money in the drain too. So like, I'm willing to see how that shakes out. He 100% said he was in fucking Gone Girl. He was in Star Trek. Yeah. I'm excited for an anime called Go Go Loser Ranger. It's basically a universe of where there are Power Rangers, but they're evil. The manga is insanely good. I didn't mean to give such a deep question, but hey, this works too. Yeah, he probably not in WGA or the PGA then if he's SAG. Um, Damn, it's so funny to see Tyler Perry in movies. You're like, oh shit, he's in movies. You think Tyler Perry as the figure. You don't think of Tyler Perry as like the actor. Um, I'm also excited. I'm excited. I have to be excited. I'm excited about. Corey said he's back, and I don't know what that means. I don't. Oh, he's back. His computer's back on. Uh. Uh. Maybe I'm kind of excited for the new Pokemon game because X and Y was something I really didn't interact with. So Kalos isn't a thing. There you go. I'm excited that Corey's back. Oh well, his mic's not back on. Nope, I don't hear you. Uh-oh. Oh, is Corey gone forever? I'm gonna refresh
No.
the page. Oh nope, nope, nope.
Something's wrong with my PC. It wouldn't start. I had to unplug everything, and then it started, and then I had to plug everything back in. So I don't know how much time we have, but I'm
Yeah.
here.
I mean, what are you excited about?
2024, fixing my PC.
Fixing his PC.
Pretty cool. Pretty excited
Uh,
for it.
I'm excited. I was saying, I was like, I think I'm excited for Pokemon ZA or Legends because I didn't interact with
I don't even know what that
X.
is.
Yeah, it's the new Pokemon game. It's Legends Arceus, but it's Legends ZA, which is the X and Y. It's like kind of like the Z game we didn't get after X and Y. Uh,
Yeah.
and Zygarde is like the main mascot. And a lot of people thought we should have gotten a Z game after X and Y, but they went straight to Sun and
Yeah.
Moon. Uh, and so Kalos, where Mega Evolutions was out, and ZA is the backwards name of AZ, which is a character who's like this tall 8'4" motherfucker who had like this flower Pokemon. But yeah, I don't know. I guess that's the thing because I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. I think maybe people are talking about the Elden Ring DLC. Maybe people are talking about you know I don't know else. But yeah, that's I guess what I'm excited about. But before Corey's computer dies
Oh,
again,
Fallout TV show.
oh yeah, you hear the
I'll say that.
showrunners are saying it's more like Fallout 5.
Oh no, I haven't even seen that. Again,
Yeah,
no one's talking about it.
yeah.
I'm excited for it though. I'm excited because of one man, Walton Goggins,
John Halo.
John Halo. That's why I'm excited. All right, let's get us out of here before my computer shits itself.
All right, y'all. Everyone, thank you for being along. Take care of yourselves. Share what you can of the Nerd On stuff to the people that you know that are going to be excited about it. Who shall I rate over? Is it Alexa Be Awesome, Brad? Let us know. Yes, it is. They're playing Minecraft, something I do not partake in, something I may not ever partake in unless someone wants to do it and I have no time. Oh, with that being unemployed, I might just stream a lot more often too. So like there's a Pokemon Infinite Fusions and I have Baldur's Gate. I accidentally killed a robot who likes Lenore. I thought I rizzed them up to the point, but apparently I needed to kill them because it was part of the poem, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah.
And now I'm hanging out with some mushroom people. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're rating
Good part of the
Alexa.
game.
Uh, let's
You're in the Underdark.
yeah, yeah, I'm in the Underdark. Still level 5, risen everyone up. Everyone take care of yourselves. Have a good rest of your week. If you see me on the streams, don't be a stranger. Corey, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for being a host.
Yeah.
Everyone take care of yourselves. You all know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.